Roman Reigns to work with five-time champion following SummerSlam 2025 suggests ex-WWE employee. Hello guys, welcome back to my channel. I'm Jennifer, have a nice day. For the WWE family latest news update, please subscribe the channel and press the bell icon. Thank you. Roman Reigns is set to compete at WWE SummerSlam 2025, marking the first time in years that he'll enter a match at the biggest party of the summer without a championship title. Meanwhile, Tommy Carlucci has shared that he'd like to see the original Tribal Chief begin a rivalry with Braun Breaker. Reigns returned to WWE and confronted Bronson Reed and Braun Breaker on the July 14th episode of Monday Night Raw. He targeted Seth Rollins' group, who had previously sidelined him after WrestleMania. Seth Rollins suffered an injury at Saturday night's main event and hasn't appeared on television since his match with LA Knight. Speaking on Behind the Turnbuckle Studios' The Last Word, Tommy Carlucci expressed disappointment with Reigns' current booking for SummerSlam 2025. Despite Reigns' upcoming tag team match with Jey Uso, Carlucci believes the 40-year-old star should engage in a one-on-one rivalry with the accomplished Braun Breaker, a multi-time Intercontinental and NXT champion. Roman Reigns had earlier set his sights on reclaiming the undisputed WWE Championship, but fell short in the Men's Royal Rumble. He then entered a feud with CM Punk and Seth Rollins leading up to WrestleMania 41. During that time, Paul Heyman betrayed him, aligning himself with Rollins instead. After a long absence, Reigns made a dramatic return to Raw, setting his sights on Rollins' faction. WWE management has since scheduled a tag team match at SummerSlam 2025 in New Jersey. Reigns and Jey Uso versus Braun Breaker and Bronson Reed. According to the Wrestling Observer newsletter, One, Reigns was originally scheduled to face Breaker one-on-one at the first-ever two-night SummerSlam. However, plans shifted, leading to the current tag team format. A singles match between Reigns and Breaker may still happen in the near future. Fans in Detroit witnessed a chaotic and intense episode of Monday Night Raw in the lead-up to SummerSlam. What began as a standard singles match between Bronson Reed and Jey Uso quickly escalated. During the bout, Braun Breaker interfered, abruptly ending the match and launching an aggressive assault that shifted the entire tone of the show. As the situation unraveled, Roman Reigns stormed the arena to assist Jey Uso. The crowd erupted as Reigns rushed to the ring, but his intervention was cut short. The combined efforts of Reed and Breaker proved too much, and Reigns was overpowered. Bronson Reed displayed why he's earned a reputation as one of Raw's toughest competitors. He landed his finishing maneuver on both Reigns and Uso, leaving a strong impression. Braun Breaker added to the moment with a high-impact move at ringside, solidifying their dominance. In a bold and symbolic moment, Reed removed Reigns' signature sneakers, an element closely associated with Reigns' personal style, and held them aloft as Raw went off the air. This act served as a powerful visual symbol of disrespect and challenge. The attack highlighted the rising momentum of WWE's younger stars. Reed and Breaker sent a clear message with their coordination and confidence, challenging the dominance of Reigns and the old guard. Now, fans are eager to see how Reigns will respond. Can the original Tribal Chief reclaim his pride and restore order? Or are Reed and Breaker truly the new forces to beat on Monday nights? Now, it's the biggest party of the summer, but it wasn't always an event on par with WrestleMania. Throughout the years, WWE crafted the event to be an incredible spectacle where fans could expect the biggest stars and biggest angles. That's not to say every SummerSlam has been a hit, though. Plenty of times the show was a slow, unexciting affair. Still, there have been dozens of times since its inception in 1988 where SummerSlam was an excellent show, mixing intense wrestling with entertainment in a way only WWE can. For me, it takes a few things for a moment to be considered iconic, especially in wrestling, where moments can be frequent, for better or worse. The biggest element has to be the reaction of the live crowd. There's nothing quite like a professional wrestling pop. When fans in the arena get something they wanted, or get a surprise, it travels through the television to everyone else watching. That excitement becomes contagious. Secondly, it has to either be shocking and unexpected, in a good way, or deliver on a payoff the fans have been craving. A twist for the sake of a twist has its place, but not on this list. Lastly, it has to hold up over time. These moments need to be the sort of thing that still works in the long run. That doesn't mean the match itself had to be a 5-star classic, but it needed to be a fitting part of the overall storyline. Steve Austin's final glass-shattering entrance came at SummerSlam 1998. Not that the sound effects stopped, but the real glass breaking ended after this. Just an interesting tidbit. Lesnar defeating The Rock received a massive ovation, as it was the coronation of the next big thing. Unfortunately, that momentum didn't last long, as Lesnar would leave just 2 years later due to burnout. This wasn't the first Elimination Chamber. That was the previous fall at Survivor Series, but many thought it would be Goldberg's big crowning moment. Instead, it turned into one of the most disappointing parts of Triple H's long title reign in the early to mid-2000s. Goldberg spearing Chris Jericho through the pod was so iconic that Ukes included it in SmackDown. Here Comes the Pain, one of the best wrestling games of all time. After Goldberg dominated other participants, he got to Triple H, only to be hit with a sledgehammer and pinned. This also featured one of Triple H's least memorable ring looks, biker shorts, due to a leg injury limiting his movement. Fans were ready for a Goldberg win, but Vince McMahon reportedly held back due to Goldberg's critical comments on radio interviews. Jesse the Body Ventura returned to WWE as a guest referee for a triple threat match between Steve Austin, Triple H, and Mankind. Ventura, then the governor of Minnesota, and the event being in Minneapolis, took real-world criticism for his appearance. This was the I am the game era of Triple H. But Austin didn't want to lose the title to him, so Mankind briefly won it, only to drop it the next night on Raw. During the height of John Cena's run, Lesnar dominated him with multiple suplexes and finishers, pinning him clean. It was a shocking moment that Cena later said was meant to preserve the mystique of The Undertaker, whom Lesnar had previously beaten at WrestleMania X. Before his current heel persona, Dominic Mysterio had a storyline about the identity of his real father. In the end, Eddie Guerrero convinced Rey Mysterio to put custody of his son on the line in a ladder match. Despite a missed cue from Vicky Guerrero, the match was still very well executed. Shane McMahon has always been known for taking risks in the ring, even though he didn't need to. One of his most memorable stunts came when he leaped off the stage against Steve Blackman in a wild moment that became part of his legacy. Listen to the crowd erupt when Davey Boy Smith rolled up Bret Hart to win the Intercontinental Championship. Wembley Stadium went wild. It was the highlight of Smith's career. The match was impressive too, especially considering Hart later claimed that Smith had been in poor condition during the bout. The company was fully behind Finn Balor in his debut year, crowning him the first Universal Champion after a hard-fought win over Seth Rollins in 2016. Sadly, a shoulder injury during the match forced him to relinquish the title the next night. Though he never reached that level again, the moment remains a historic highlight. There's a lot to unpack in the infamous match between Shawn Michaels and Hulk Hogan. Both were known for backstage influence, and this match was supposed to be the first of 3. Hogan, however, reportedly refused to lose and insisted it would be a one-time match. Michaels responded with satirical promos and exaggerated in-ring antics that made the match entertaining but controversial. Despite everything, the crowd was fully engaged, and it remains a memorable bout in WWE history. Michaels has said he regrets how he handled the situation, which only underscores how the phrase, "that doesn't work for me, brother," became a lasting meme. Few tag teams have had more star power than Hogan and Macho Man Randy Savage as the Megapowers. Their SummerSlam 1988 match against Andre the Giant and Ted DiBiase was their first televised outing as a team. The bout was a spectacle, setting up their eventual fallout at WrestleMania 5. Everyone remembers the TLC match at WrestleMania X7, and rightfully so. But the first ever TLC match actually happened earlier, at SummerSlam 2000. The Dudley Boys, Hardy Boys, and Edge Christian created absolute chaos in the ring, with innovative moves and daring spots, setting the stage for future classics. Dot Lynch was a fan favorite and said fans were getting increasingly frustrated, not only that she kept coming up short, but that she seemed indifferent to it. Finally, at SummerSlam, Lynch had enough and turned on Charlotte in a post-match altercation. The crowd erupted, and this moment marked the beginning of Lynch's transformation into her the man persona, which would go on to become one of the most popular acts in wrestling for nearly 2 years. Reigns left WWE in March 2020 due to concerns about COVID-19, as he was immunocompromised after battling leukemia. He withdrew from his scheduled WrestleMania 36 match with Goldberg and was off television for much of the year before making a surprise return at SummerSlam. Sporting a Wreck Everyone Leave shirt, Reigns showcased a new persona and more aggressive attitude. He confronted Bray Wyatt and Braun Strowman and a week later won the Universal Championship in a triple threat match, beginning his historic title run. Although the moment was striking, it was somewhat limited by the absence of a live crowd. Still, Reigns would go on to receive plenty of loud reactions throughout his reign as champion. After Daniel Bryan and John Cena delivered a match that would later win the Pro Wrestling Illustrated Match of the Year award, Triple H shocked fans by hitting Bryan with the pedigree, allowing Randy Orton to cash in his Money in the Bank contract. This moment marked the formation of the Authority and launched one of the most compelling storylines in WWE history. Bryan would ultimately overcome the odds via the Yes movement, defeating Triple H, Orton, and Batista at WrestleMania XX. After retiring in 1998, Shawn Michaels returned in 2002 and rekindled a rivalry with Triple H. Michaels had suffered a serious back injury in a match with The Undertaker at the 1998 Royal Rumble and stepped away from wrestling after losing the WWE Championship to Stone Cold Steve Austin at WrestleMania the 14th. Michaels returned as a member of the NWO, though the group had lost momentum by that point. Hogan had already reverted to his fan-favorite persona, and the group was constantly changing members. Michaels convinced Triple H to leave SmackDown and return to Raw to reform DX. However, the reunion was short-lived when Triple H turned on Michaels by delivering a pedigree. The following week, he further escalated the rivalry in dramatic fashion. At SummerSlam, the two clashed in an intense unsanctioned match that lasted nearly 30 minutes. Triple H played the antagonist expertly, and Michaels looked revitalized in the ring, thanks in part to overcoming personal challenges. The match is widely regarded as one of the greatest, and Michaels' return to the ring remains one of the most successful comebacks ever. WWE SummerSlam has long been viewed as the second biggest premium live event on the WWE calendar. Dubbed the biggest party of the summer, it is revered nearly on par with other top-tier shows. It features the biggest stars, celebrities, and matches, and is often a defining night for many superstars. Throughout SummerSlam's nearly 40-year history, it has delivered some of the most iconic moments in WWE. Wrestlers have won championship gold and secured career-defining victories that fans will never forget. Brock Lesnar's victory at his first SummerSlam in 2002 was monumental, but what he achieved in 2014 arguably surpassed it. Returning to WWE as a dominant force, Lesnar had already defeated The Undertaker's legendary WrestleMania streak. To complete his comeback, he needed a world championship, and he did it decisively against a future 17-time world champion. The main event of SummerSlam 2014 was a one-sided contest. John Cena was overwhelmed by Lesnar, who executed an unrelenting barrage of suplexes and strikes. It was one of the most dominant victories ever seen, cementing Lesnar's place atop WWE. The Honky Tonk Man's Intercontinental Championship reign lasted 454 days and became iconic. With over-the-top entrances and endless interviews, he was the perfect antagonist for rising heroes. After more than a year, fans wondered who could end his reign, until the Ultimate Warrior made a surprise appearance at Madison Square Garden. When Warrior answered the open challenge, the crowd erupted. His quick victory began his meteoric rise and left a lasting memory. Roman Reigns was pushed early in his career and worked with top stars, but fans took time to warm to him. Among his many battles, none were bigger than against Brock Lesnar. Though he endured multiple losses, his breakthrough finally came at SummerSlam 2018. After years of setbacks, Reigns defeated Lesnar and earned one of the biggest reactions of his career. It was a defining win that helped solidify him as a main event talent. Bret, the Hitman Hart, was one of the best tag team wrestlers of the Golden Era, teaming with Jim Neidhart to become a two-time tag champion. But his singles potential was clear, and he eventually stepped out on his own. At SummerSlam 1990, Hart was given a major opportunity against Mr. Perfect, and the two delivered one of the greatest technical matches in WWE history. Hart's victory signaled the start of a new era, with a new kind of superstar rising to prominence. The Money in the Bank briefcase symbolizes opportunity. The excitement when a superstar cashes in is unmatched, and fans eagerly anticipate these moments. One of the best recent cash-ins came when Sky captured her first world championship. Despite being part of a villainous group, Sky was incredibly popular. She seized her moment, capitalizing on Bianca Belair's weakened state, and the Detroit crowd exploded as she won the title. It marked the start of a new era for Sky. In 2016, Finn Balor had already established himself as a standout in NXT, consistently delivering top-tier performances and championship wins. When he joined the main roster, he made an immediate impact. He cleanly defeated Roman Reigns en route to SummerSlam, where he faced Seth Rollins for the newly introduced Universal Championship. Balor won the title in a historic match, though an injury forced him to relinquish it soon after. Still, the moment was monumental for both Balor and WWE. Daniel Bryan wasn't expected to succeed in WWE, but his undeniable talent and fan support told a different story. A major star on the independent scene, Bryan quickly became one of WWE's most beloved performers. At SummerSlam, John Cena chose Bryan as his challenger for the WWE Championship. They had a fantastic match, and Bryan's clean win was a massive surprise. It turned a great moment into an unforgettable one and marked the peak of Bryan's underdog journey, even if controversy followed immediately after. When SummerSlam was held in the United Kingdom, it was a groundbreaking moment for WWE. The company needed a marquee match, and there was no better choice than pitting hometown hero British Bulldog against his brother-in-law Bret Hart. While the match's quality was largely thanks to Bret's skill, the emotional finish was all about Bulldog. His win made him the first British wrestler to claim the Intercontinental Championship, and the crowd's roar was deafening. The closing moment of SummerSlam 1992 remains one of the most cherished in WWE